like to now come to Prime Minister Sharma and ask you the same question. How do you see the developments in Nepal? You're laying out some structural reform program. How is that developing? What are the main challenges? And how do you see the role of regional cooperation in playing a role in the development of Nepal? And maybe you can also reflect on, it's not just the economic issues, obviously, but there's also the security challenges and the conflicts or tensions between countries that are preventing more progressive development of SAARC or SAFTA. And given that Nepal is the chairman of SAARC this year, you might want to reflect on what you plan to do ahead.
Thank you, Madam Pangestu. Nepal has just entered into a new phase, new stage. Nepal is developing and changing very fastly, politically and economically. It is developing its friendly ties with its neighbors also. And the regional organizations and all aspects are developing fastly and changing very fastly. Nepal promulgated a new constitution, democratic constitution, and established a federal democratic republican system. And according to the constitution, we had to make some laws, and now we completed about the structural changes according to the constitution to implement the constitution accurately. And now we are focusing our entire endeavors and efforts to the economic development for good governance and economic development. Our motto is prosperous Nepal, happy Nepali. And to materialize that national desire, we are concentrating ourselves. And we are introducing new policies and bringing reforms in each and every field of economic aspects as well, and social. And we are introducing social justice, improving all sectors of our society, and justice and equality, empowerment of women, and bringing the backward sections of society in the front lines. With these efforts, now we have entered into a new situation where we are optimistic, and we are doing our best to expand our role and increase our role in the regional and international affairs also. And on the question of regional cooperation and regional development, South Asia, as you mentioned, that is a country of, is a region of learned people with great civilization. And we have genetic memories of our learned ancestors. And we have very excellent diversity from the top of the world, Mount Everest, to the Bay of Bengal and Indian Ocean. And this diversity, within this diversity, we have very fertile land and young population, mostly. And that demographic dividend, being based on these factors we can develop. And now we have to think about to develop our regional cooperation, regional trade. And for that, we have to create such a situation where equality, justice, and win-win situation for all, so that we can develop, and no one, no nation, no people will remain back. We are trying to invite investment and use technology and technology transfer and use of technology and develop connectivity between the countries. As well as we are trying to develop our trade and relationship with other ASEAN countries also. Like we are just a few months before, last year we organized 4th summit of BIMSTEC in Kathmandu, and we handed over the chairmanship of BIMSTEC to Sri Lanka. And that it means we are connected not only with SAARC, but we are connected with Thailand and Myanmar, like countries from where we can connect our trade and other connectivities. And for this, we have opened up ways and roads and land links and waterways we are going to open up from India also, and use our resources. And in this way, we can develop our regional cooperation and trade.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So it's not just about South Asia, but also the possibility of South Asia with East Asia. That's I think, a very good point.
My country, Nepal, right now, or until now, is in a weaker position in economic terms. But because of the political system and instability, Nepal was left behind. But now there is political stability. And policy also, in each and every field, policies are stable. So stable policies, clear vision, and a stable government we have. And we are giving importance to not only the public sector, but also the private sector, and equally the cooperative sector, to create job opportunities for the young people, and formal education to the children, and vocational and skill training to the youths and other people. Because working population is more than 60% in our country. So it's very important to create new jobs. And a huge number of our young population is outside in search of jobs, etc. We want to bring them back, and with skills what they learn, we have given incentives to them. And in this way, we are trying to invest and attract and invite the investment from outside also in the sectors, productive sector, and the sectors which create productivity and create job opportunities. And in this way, we are increasing our growth rate. And right now, I don't want to forecast that will be the fastest growing country within a few years, but that will happen perhaps because we have possibilities. We have young population, we have resources, and we have developed connectivity with China also. Now we have agreements, and now those agreements are also in practice. So through the Chinese territory also we can, and from through India also, and waterways also we are opening in the near future. And railway connections we are bringing from Kathmandu to India, Kathmandu to China, and other connectivities also, and in the IT sectors also. And in each and every field we are trying to create job opportunities for the youths and provide trainings for them. And when we are not only giving attention and stress to the development process, but when we are talking about development, or we are doing our endeavors, we are concentrating in economic development, then we are equally aware with the environmental questions also. We are contributing a lot on the question of environment because we have mountains, and 45% forest we have, and 15% of land is covered with snow. And those snows, those ice, those mountains have very significant meaning in the climate change, question of climate change and everything. Because the air which comes, if from Rajasthan, hot air comes, then when it comes to near of our mountains, it goes to cold. Because mountains are always minus 50 degrees Celsius or like this. And the mountains shoulder a lot, meters and meters thick ice, and recharge gradually to the rocks and the streams, the rivers. And the famous Ganga River, its entire water, 40% in the rainy season and 72% of the dry season is our contribution. Nepal is contributing on that. Our river's contribution is there. So we are contributing, and we are conscious about 60%, you can understand, 60% of our land, 45% for forest and 15% for ice. 60% of our land is contributing for the climate change and to maintain the climate, protecting from warming, recharging from protecting from being desertification. In this way, we are aware of the development efforts, development issues, trade issues, and other issues comprehensively. And we are concentrating all our efforts with concentration on the interest of the people, improvement of the lives of the people. So people concentrated for the earth and for the people. So our development is balanced, conscious, responsible towards the earth, towards the people, and for the future generation as well.